was just, reading the acronym as startup, but all of you were referring as TTA. Initially, I was a bit confused, but now I understand. Yeah, board members of TTA and other, members who have come from across the US. It's kind of a mini US that I'm seeing here. And really, thanks to all of you for taking out time to come here to Hyderabad and be part of this event organized by TTA. And the media person also who are out there, thank you all. And greetings from Government of Telangana. Well, just one thing I want to mention it. In fact, the topic that was given to Jayesh Garu was different actually. It's about startups and something. But he spoke about my my area. So now I need to look for areas, something else that I need to talk, or within that, what he has missed, I need to look for and speak out. Whatever that he has spoken just now, was on the area that I'm working for the last 5.5 years, emerging technologies. Well, today, if you see, Telangana is actually poised as a leader in emerging technology. If you go to any state in India, and if you mention about emerging technologies, and which is a state that is actually, of course, Bangalore is there, but for different reasons. It has been an IT world or the Silicon Valley of India, that name it has got. But if you specifically talk about emerging technologies in India, anywhere in the country, the first name that comes out is the state of Telangana. So that's the kind of work that we have done. The ecosystem, complete ecosystem has actually contributed to it. Not just emerging technologies, but we have 9 ecosystem partners, including T-Hub, V-Hub, TSIC, TASK, so all these organizations over the years have contributed to the growth of the innovation ecosystem in Telangana. So we actually focused on these emerging technologies, way back in 2018. So I understand that we have, people from real estate, also healthcare, of course, IT is there, So when I heard about real estate, the first thing that came to my mind was, the blockchain technology that we started working on since 2018. And just a week back in Bangalore, we released a standards. It's a kind of a framework that we are working on for asset tokenization, which actually helps, in the increase the liquid of the or real estate. Today we cannot. We have to buy the entire flat, but there is no fractional ownership right now. Currently, it's not possible. So tokenization of digital assets would actually enable that, which in turn increases liquidity in the real estate. So that we are actually working with the industry, to come out in India today in blockchain asset tokenization. We don't have any clarity on regulations or how to go about it. There are many startups working in this area, especially the Web3 companies, who are actually moving away to countries like Dubai, Singapore, and so on. So, in fact, we wanted to bring those companies back to Telangana or to India, and we started working on what we call ecosystem enablers, which means, talk to regulators and try to bring out, regulations that are favorable to the technological ecosystem, as well as it protects the consumers. Because at the end of the day, citizens or consumers who use these technologies, they should not be harmed, So that's also on top priority for us. So when I heard about this real estate, I immediately thought of sharing this. And we also actually implemented Web3 regulatory sandbox, This is again a new concept that Telangana government has implemented, which no other government has done. What it does is it helps startups navigate the regulatory landscape. We initially started this for Web3 companies, but now we are actually taking it to the entire agri-tech ecosystem. As Jesh Garu mentioned, we have been working in agriculture for the last 2-3 years, trying to deploy technology. Somebody said they're doing, agriculture in 100 acres in Nalgonda district. So in fact, agriculture is one sector where technology hasn't been percolated, That's the sector that we have chosen to deploy emerging technologies. And this we are working in partnership with World Economic Forum. So we have deployed a range of technologies, especially AI, for quality assessing of commodities. Like if you take an orange or an apple, the way the quality is assessed is very subjective. People just look at it, texture, and then, they grade it accordingly. There is no technology. Of course, physical technological sorting machines are there, but quality using AI is one that we are actually deploying it for chili crop, So that's one. Then price discovery, there is another issue. The farmers, they really don't know what price, what's the demand for the crop would be, So all the farmers sow the same thing, and when actually they get the produce, the price just drops, and they don't even get the investment that they make. So can we come out with AI based algorithms, just like a stock exchange, wherein it actually indicates the demand and price based on which farmers can actually sow their seeds and grow the crops relevant, which gets them enough pricing. That's another area that we are looking at. And with Google, we are working on one project called field segmentation. Right now, what is happening is most of the startups who are in the ag tech sectors, they don't have digital farm boundaries, available anywhere. So each startup goes out there, maps the digital boundaries, and then delivers advisories to the farmers. So we are working with Google to come out with digital, segmentation, land segmentation map, just like Google Map you have. Similarly, for the agricultural farmlands, you can identify an individual farm. The government is actually wants those individual farmlands to be mapped to an individual, not ownership, but operator, whoever is operating, so that the government can, distribute benefits and such things, grants, whatever, you have been listening to, right to Bandhu and other grants to farmers. That's one of the challenging areas that we are facing in terms of identifying the digital boundaries. In fact, yesterday we had a meeting with Google senior leadership on this particular project, which they have taken up as a research project initially, and they will roll out to all the states if it is successful in Telangana. So whatever initiative that you look at in AI or any of these emerging technologies, first it's being piloted in Telangana, and then when it's successful, it's being taken to other states. The other example is in climate change, where now everybody is talking about climate change. That is a buzzword. Even we recently, Prime Minister attended the COP28 in Dubai event, right? So there's a lot of funding in that area actually coming through different countries. So we implemented one project with UNDP to assess, again, I'm going back to agriculture, but Jesh Garu very clearly mentioned that, going forward, maybe different sector could come up as a priority, So where this particular project, it's on climate change, where we are identifying, again, UNDP actually developed this project. It's open source, open AI, everything is, and they're about open data sets. That is the key thing in this. It identifies, best practices across different areas of Telangana. What are the areas that are actually adopting climate resilient agriculture? We identify that and then implement it in other, mandals or villages. So these are some of the kind of innovative implementations that we are doing. This is for agriculture, either to increase revenue to the farmer or to even address certain areas. I just want to ask you, all of you are from US. So what do you think is one of the biggest cause of deaths in India? Because all of you are listening very monotonously, so I thought let me break that. Yeah, accident. Every day, every 2 minutes, that's what I understand, a person dies because of an accident. So can we actually use technology to reduce those accidents is what we are trying to do. We want to bring down the death of accidents by 50%, and we are implementing this again in partnership with IIT Hyderabad and INAI, which is again Intel, it's a project by Intel. So we are implementing these collision avoidance devices in all the RTC buses, and also driver monitoring systems, like which gives alerts to the drivers when a collision is about to happen. In fact, 6 months back, we implemented these devices, and the number of alerts that are given to the drivers have come down after, we installed these devices, given them training and so on. So that's another. And the recent one that we are working on is, again, all of you are aware, one social problem that's everywhere across the world globally. It's, narcotics and drugs abuse, right? So, again, AI can really solve, some of the biggest challenges in that area. The police department approaches saying that, there are very few officers who investigate, these narcotics sales, and, they want to track actually that, the entire chain. So they said, and they have very, there's certain acts, rules, policies that they need to follow when they're carrying out the investigation. They cannot do without that. And so it's this much big book, and imagine a police officer, while actually doing the investigation, he has to read this big book and comply to that, and he has to actually do his job as per that. So they said, can you help us? We're actually, again, Ravi is here, Quantum, they are helping us out to come out with a solution, AI based, generative AI, where it could help police officers in actually carrying out the investigation. So as and when a case is registered, it should throw out what are the policies that they need to follow, what is the workflow that a police officer will have to adhere to, and all those things. If we can really successfully do it, they're going to implement across the state. Hopefully that could again bring down these cases, or usage of these narcotics. So these are some of the kind of implementation, very exciting. And all these we do with, I know these solutions, we don't develop internally in-house within the department. We work with various partners. It could be enterprises, it could be foundations, it could be startups, and Vamshi is here, We have worked way back in 2020, I think, we developed a chatbot for registration department to help, people who want to register a plot. They may not know where to go, which registrar office. So we actually built a bot, but now we are further improvising that. So these are different kind of solutions that we're implementing, with the help of partners and others. And another one, Desh Garu already talked about Telangana AI Machine, where we have about 140 startups, where different kind of services are being delivered to them. So if you have any, if one of you are, any of you are AI startups, please, you can avail the services of Telangana AI Mission. We have such, and somebody said they're working in cybersecurity. We have a Center of Excellence in Cybersecurity, and that center can actually provide, so if you need any support, anything, sure. And the other one that I would like to mention is there are various kind of incentives, which actually Jayesh Garu was supposed to talk about, in Tier 2 cities. If you want to set up your company, there are certain incentives. I'm not qualified to speak on that, but since he was supposed to speak, he missed that, certain incentives, and we have built certain 6 IT towers in 6 districts of Telangana. Probably if you are looking at coming back and contributing, because you're doing some really wonderful job in giving back to the community, right? Healthcare is one, education is another one, job opportunities another one. So if you're keen to actually set up your businesses, please, you can avail the support of the government in Tier 2 cities. We will actually help you set up your office, identify a place, and provide all. They're offered at a subsidized rate, the office space, whatever the logistics that are required. So please feel free to reach out to us if you need any support in that regard. And I really, congratulate each one of you for doing such a wonderful job in actually giving back to the community. That is, I always say, somehow in India, it is because you are in US, probably you got this mindset again to give back to the community. But in India, when we are here, we really don't get that. Somehow in a culture across the country, we missed out that, giving back to the community. But glad to see so many people, coming back to India and, trying to support the ecosystem here, giving back to it. I really thank you all. Appreciate you all for doing the wonderful work. And one common thread between us is I also worked in the US for a couple of years. Initially, I returned back in early 1997 to 2000. I was in the Bay Area. 1 year I was in Chicago. 4 years I worked in the Bay Area. My husband, he wanted to set up his own software company here. That's how I came back. I joined back the government. I'm part of the government since the beginning, but I've been working in various capacities outside the government, contributing to the government. So for the last 6 years, I've been working in these emerging technologies, coming out with policy frameworks, setting up institutions in different technologies and implementing projects. And today, thankfully, with the, contribution from all the ecosystem partners, Telangana has today a wonderful ecosystem, innovation ecosystem, which is kind of a role model for other states to follow. And please, reach out to us if you need any support in any of these, areas where if you want to set up a, your business here in Telangana, number one. Second, if you have any good product, and again, startups, I'm saying, that actually meets the government requirements, please approach us. We'll evaluate and see if it fits our requirement. We'll actually implement it. And thirdly, again, I can only talk about the IT field. So in this particular innovation ecosystem, if you need any support, the government is out there to always, come forward and help you. And thank you all once again for giving me this opportunity.